as though we were only one of us. You know our strengths and you know our weaknesses. Through your grace and providence, you have brought us all together. I ask that you would help us to function not as individuals with their own motives, but as a team working towards a common goal. May we grow to appreciate one another's gifts and strengths and be generous, be gracious in times where we fall short or make mistakes. May we come together with your eyes fixed on you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I believe everyone has a copy of the agenda in front of them. Do we have a motion to approve that? This is awful. Seconded by Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments regarding the agenda? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Minutes from the October 10th, 2023 session were sent to everyone. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes? Mr. Williams. Do we have a second? Mr. Hughes. Are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion passes. Next is payroll. We have a motion to approve the payroll. Mr. Zumwalt, seconded by Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments regarding the payroll? Seeing none, the clerk will call roll, please.
Behrens,
Yes.
Lentz,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Ducat,
Yep.
Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful, Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Do we have any public comments this morning?
I do. I'll make it really brief.
As you know, I'm the superintendent of Veterans Assistance, and I wanted to give a brief report as I have somebody waiting in the hot seat for me. So this year, we have, as far as money-wise, we have $2.9 million coming in from revenues from claims that we have provided our veterans in Iroquois County. That is almost, not quite double from last year. I just wanted to give you guys that this is what we continue to keep doing for our veterans in Iroquois County, and mostly by word of mouth and some small public relations. I just wanted to put that out there. We want to keep being able to do good work, and that's where we're at. Is there any questions?
I would just say, well done, thank you.
I love my job. And I absolutely love what I do. That's all I can say. I keep putting in my heart and my soul into this every single day. So with that being said, I'm out. I got to go help another vet. So
Thank you.
Any other public comments this morning? Before we go to chairman comments and move on to outside organization reports. Mrs. Crawford.
Good morning, Chairman, members of the Iroquois County Board, and guests. I'm Angel Crawford, with the Executive Director with the Iroquois Economic Development Association, and here's the IDA news for November. In April, we announced that IDA reached out to over 65 businesses and organizations in Iroquois County to assist them in applying for the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, DCEO, Back to Business Grant. Also, in August, I announced that the awards for 11 businesses that applied and received awards for the B2B bars, restaurants, and hotel grants. Today, we would like to announce 6 more awards going to Iroquois County businesses and organizations for the B2B Creative Arts Grant. Here are all the businesses that received awards through this program. So here's the B2B bars, restaurants, hotels. recipients. Cissna Park Restaurant, The Depot in Crescent City, Calzora's Tacos in Anarga, Steak and Shake franchise in Watsika, La Piscina in Watsika, Crossroads Cantina in Gilman, Greg's Place in Melford, Iroquois Cafe in Iroquois, Super 8 Hotel in Watsika, Motel 6 in Gilman, Super 8 Hotel in Gilman, and these are the new ones, the B2B Creative Art Grants. Sugar Creek Opera in Watsika received $10,000, Watsika Theater received $30,000, Anarga Theater received $10,000, Iroquois County Historical Society received $5,000, the County Theater Workshop in Cissna Park received $10,000, and Dancepiration Dance Academy in Watsika received $5,000. The grand total of all these awards for the B2B grants is $334,330.21. Here are a couple testimonies from the businesses talking about how this money helped their business. Chuck and Deborah Gomez, the owners of the Watsika Theater. This money came at a very beneficial time for us. We upgraded our heating systems, which formerly were heated by corn burners. Yes, we were the only theater in America that heated with renewable resources. But now we heat with natural gas. Also, we are replacing several of our outdated large appliances to accommodate the requests of our community's feedback for accommodating additional entertainment preferences. Plus, this helps with our association with the community schools to continue to open our doors to school programs so students have an uplifting experience performing on stages that present national acts with upscale production elements. We are eternally thankful to Ida and hope the historic Watsika Theater and Watsika as a whole continue to strengthen and grow in the near and far into the future. Blair Hankey with Dancepiration Dance Academy in Watsika says, "We are so blessed to have been approved for this grant. We hired a tumbling coach this year, so we plan to use that grant in updating all our class materials between dance and tumbling, such as stretching bands, balancing blocks, mats, balancing beams, turning boards, and more." Again, all of these businesses have been in business before COVID and are still going strong. On November 1st, each of the business owners that I spoke to are very thankful to have Ida helping them, and we look forward to sharing future programs and information that we receive through the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. On November 1st, I attended the Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours event hosted by Nichols Paint and Fab. The Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce After Hours event is a great way to network, make announcements about your business or organization, and with over 50 businesses in attendance at this meeting, it's easy to see why this is one of Iroquois County's greatest networking events. Amanda Hibbs, the Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce Director, announced that the Chamber is an area Chamber of Commerce, and they welcome businesses from area towns to join their organization. Some of the businesses that have joined the Chamber are Craig Luke and Rod Burgett from Melford Building and Loan in Melford, Greg Bertram at Greg's Place in Melford, Jamie Bacon with CJ's Closet, Jamboree Children and Women's Boutique in Melford, which those are three different ones. Right, I believe? Yes, that's what I thought too. I kind of ran that together, sorry. Lisa Martinez, Deeply Rooted 3 Salon in Melford, Samantha Brazzard, Glow Spray Tan in Melford. The Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce helps advance local businesses and organizations by providing a venue through which people can take effective action for the progress of their community. It helps create opportunities for industrial and commercial growth and seeks improvements in community infrastructure. It markets the community to potential businesses, organizations, and residents. And it serves the community by organizing events that highlight new and existing businesses and organizations and promotes our area to visitors. If your business is interested in joining the Watsika Area Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Amanda today, 815-432-2416. In closing, be sure to get out and enjoy and enjoy the following events coming up in November and December in Iroquois County. November 24th is the Watseka Winterfest and City of Watseka Lighted Snowflake and Mittens Christmas Parade. Start the holiday season right and bring your family out for a night of festivities. There will be something for everyone, including food, crafts, gingerbread house decorating contests, games, ugly sweater contests, a Christmas tree lighting, face painting, a Christmas photo booth, music, fire truck, and horse wagon rides. And the State Line Riders will be accepting food and toy donations for local families in need. Of course, the Watseka Area Chamber of Commerce will be announcing the parade, and the Watseka Family Festival will be judging all the entries in the Watseka Townwide Christmas Light Contest. This will be an event you don't want to miss. November 26th, Milford Holiday Festival. So keep your holiday spirit going and be sure to bring your kids to this event. There will be a Santa meet and greet, cookies, hot cocoa, and a community Christmas tree lighting, and the annual Milford Holiday Christmas Parade. December 10th is the Crossroads Youth Center annual Taste of Chocolate fundraiser. The best part of the holidays is all the yummy treats that we get to eat, and this event is all about that. Enjoy a wide variety of chocolate goodies and have a chance to win numerous prize baskets, all while raising money for a youth center. These festivals and bazaars are a way to shop locally, support our communities and home-based businesses. So make plans to bring out your whole family to experience these wonderful fall and winter events right here in Iroquois County. For information on more Iroquois County events, be sure to like our Facebook and Instagram pages. We really do try to keep up on everything that's happening in different towns and make that well known to everybody, and it's a great resource, so be sure to check it out. Are there any questions? For more information on these topics I've discussed, and if you know a business that would like to sign up for our notifications, please feel free to call the Iroquois Economic Development Association in our office, 815-432-0072. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel. Do we have any other outside organization reports this morning? Seeing none, we'll move on to the committee reports. Members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred policy and procedure would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 2, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Scher, Ducat, Barons, Awful, and Whitlow. Michael McTaggart was absent. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Brianne Suber, EMA Director Scott Anderson, and County Board Member Doug Geiger. Meeting was called to order. It was moved by Barons and seconded by Whitlow to approve the agenda. That motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. EMA Director Scott Anderson distributed his monthly report to the committee. There were no incidents to report. The Iroquois County Natural Hazard Mitigation Plan continues to progress. Anderson explained that there were questions regarding the actual plan cost versus what was approved at last month's policy and procedure meeting. Further discussion will be held later in the meeting. Anderson continues to file the necessary quarterly reports and the final payment request for the EMP grant that was concluded in September 30th, and that was filed. Payment should be $587.83. The new EMP grant has been filed and began on October 1. Anderson attended in person and online training that qualifies him to receive certificates in the following: IS-00235C Emergency Planning, IEMA Emergency Planning Process, IS-00908 Emergency Management for Senior Officials, IS-02200 Basic Emergency Operations Center Functions. The local emergency planning committee met on Wednesday, October 11. Excuse me, there were discussions in regards to a tabletop training exercise that should be held in the spring. This type of training will assist EMA in satisfying a deliverable requirement needed to stay in compliance with our EMP grant. The next scheduled meeting is November 8th. Anderson attended the monthly Mutual Aid Fire Association meeting at the Beaver Township Fire Department on October 25. Reported on the status of the hazard mitigation plan and the need for as many of the county entities to be part of the process. Anderson also shared the proposed spiller pays ordinance, which was well received. Anderson also attended the monthly Iroquois County Amateur Radio Club meeting on October 26. Anderson reported he has received applications from a few members to join EMA as volunteers. Discussion was also held about being one of the backup communication locations in case ICOM or CANCOM are unable to provide service to the county. The ICARC voted to spend over $2,000 from the club's account on equipment that will improve their abilities to provide the needed communication backup to the county, if the need arises. On October 17th, Iroquois County was recognized as a NOAA Weather Ready Nation Ambassador. Emergency Management Agent is committed to working with NOAA and other ambassadors to strengthen national resilience against extreme weather. It is one of the steps that's needed to be accomplished in the path to becoming a recognized storm-ready county within the state. Currently, there are only 38 other counties within Illinois that have earned the designation. Anderson reported he is completing a hazardous weather annex for the county emergency operations plan. The purpose of the annex is to outline the organization, responsibilities, operational concepts, and procedures for response to actual and/or forecasted severe weather emergencies in order to get time-critical, life-saving severe weather warning to the people of Iroquois County in the most expeditious manner. The HyperReach notification system is a system that the county pays $6,300 for annually. This messaging system can be utilized to send out emergency notifications to targeted areas that are defined by the person needing to advise the individuals within a specific area, or it can be used to send out county-wide notifications. Anderson continues to utilize this system and will be sending out a county-wide test message that coincides with the monthly warning siren test. Anderson informed the committee when he assumed this position on August 1st, EMA had one active volunteer, Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was also the assistant EMA coordinator and has been with EMA for 23 years. He has since retired and moved out of state. EMA also had 4 other active volunteers that stopped attending meetings and trainings. Anderson has reached out to them and they have agreed to return to active status. Volunteer numbers have increased to 10 with a few applications still outstanding. A meeting is scheduled for November 15. Anderson continues to post to the Iroquois County EMA Facebook page on a semi-regular basis. Items shared include information from the National Weather Service and timely incident notifications and information that is important to the residents of the county. Anderson reported he has begun organizing and redesigning the radio room within the EOC. Plans are currently underway to add an additional radio to the EOC that operates within the amateur radio ham bands. This will allow for, if all else fails, emergency communications. Anderson said his goal is to be able to achieve communications outside the county, primarily with the State Emergency Operations Center in Springfield, if all other means of communications fail. A different antenna is required on top of the courthouse. This project has the full support of Sheriff Clint Perzee and the Maintenance Department. County Board Chairman Scher provided further information regarding the hazard mitigation plan, stating bids were opened last month and the committee approved American Environmental Corporation bid in the amount of $55,903.20. However, the contract we received for signature did not have the correct dollar amount. Emails between the vendor and the county board office determined the difference in the amount is administrative charges and should be handled separately. Anderson added the grant for the hazard mitigation plan was awarded in full prior to the submission of bids, and the vendors were not aware of this amount. It is expected that the entity to use the entire grant amount, it is expected for the entity to use the entire grant amount. Sure requested American Environmental Corporation draft new contracts that reflect the bid amount approved and the administrative charges. The committee chairs gave their monthly reports. Management Chairman Behrens reported the committee will receive their normal monthly reports and received an update on the morgue. ARPA Chairman Duquette reported the committee will continue reviewing the remaining applications. Health Chairman Awful reported the Health Committee will hear their standard reports. Tax Planning and Zoning Chairman Duquette reported the Tax Planning and Zoning Committee will hear their regular reports and discuss the 2023 levy. Judicial Chairman Whitlow reported the committee will hear their standard reports from the department heads. The Finance Committee will be finalizing the fiscal year 2024 budget. Highway Chairman Alt reported the committee will review and approve claims and hear their regular reports. Also, one vacancy has been filled in the Maintenance Department. The committee will also take action on a resolution for the county engineer's salary. Finance Chairman Johnson provided an update on sexual harassment training, stating the completion rate is at 92%. County Clerk Brian Suver provided the committee with the holiday schedule and board meeting schedule for 2024. It was moved by Duquette and seconded by Awful to approve the holiday schedule for 2024. That motion carried by a voice vote. It was moved by Duquette and seconded by Whitlow to approve the county board meeting schedule for 2024. That motion also carried by a voice vote. Sure said that it was brought to his attention that there's a need for updating our building codes, and there may be a grant available. Chapter 8 of our county code is buildings and building regulations. Sure recommended the Tax Planning and Zoning Committee look into the grant situation and report back to the Policy and Procedure Committee. The committee continued their review of the county code book. Revisions are as follows. Section 6-201, procedure. Increase the public safety fine to $150 if a dog is found to be a vicious dog. Section 6-228, dangerous dog determination. Increase the public safety fine fee to $100 if a dog is declared dangerous. Appointments will be made at the county board meeting. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Awful and seconded by Behrens to pay the claims subject to county board approval. The roll call vote was taken and that motion carried. Correspondence was distributed to the committee. Reimbursement was received from UCCI for meetings attended. There was no old business and there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Behrens to adjourn at 10:31 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted and signed by all members present, and I move for the adoption of the report. Is there a second? Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments about the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Benz,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Ducat, Hughes,
Yes.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful, Sure,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt, and Barron's.
Yes.
Management Services Committee, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred management services would beg to leave submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 6, 2023 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barron's, Bowers, Crowe, Zumwalt, Bentz. Mitchell Bentz was absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, and County Board Member Charlie Alt. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Donna Crowe and seconded by John Zumwalt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Discussion was held on the county farm, and farm report provided by Walker Farms was distributed to the committee. The committee also revisited the bid opening process for the county farm. Management Chairman Barron's asked the committee for their input on using the online database for the bid opening process, or if they would prefer using the method in place. Crowe stated she likes the idea of the electronic bidding, but would like to make sure the process is timed appropriately so the action can be taken on bids during management meeting. This process will also reach a much larger audience, but Crowe said she wasn't opposed to using the bidding process currently in place. Paul Bowers added that if he were a tenant, he would prefer the current bidding process. Zumwalt said he would prefer to stay with the current bidding process. When the bidding is done electronically, you may see a lot of absentee landowners with little to no experience. The consensus of the committee is to leave the bidding process as is and revisit the matter when the next contract is up. Zumwalt asked the committee to spend more effort advertising when the county farm contract is going out for bid. This may increase the number of bidders we receive. It was suggested to print flyers and mail them to local elevators and financial institutions to post on their community bulletin boards. The notice will also be posted on the county's website and in local newspapers. Continued discussion was held on the morgue. An architect was approved last month and progress is being made. Preliminary details should be available to the committee within the next week. Schur provided copies of proposals from Piggish Engineering and MG2A. From a cost standpoint, MG2A is within the budget amount, and Schur said he didn't think that Piggish Engineering was interested in taking on the project at this time. MG2A has been asked to submit a more formal proposal. Schur recommends MG2A be approved for the site engineering. Also, Schur would like the committee to consider authorizing Lyle Barron's, Doug Geiger, and himself to act as general contractors on behalf of the county to be able to expedite the project. Geiger and Schur met with State's Attorney Jim Devine about the matter, and Devine agreed there would be no issue with this arrangement. Schur said the project would still be put out for bid. Bids would be opened before the committee with full approval of the county board. Regular updates to the committee will be provided in the meantime. It is moved by Bowers and second by Crowe to approve MG2A for site engineering work, subject to receiving a formal proposal. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. It was moved by Zumwalt, second by Bowers, to authorize Lyle Barron's, Doug Geiger, and John Schur to represent the county board as general contractor for the morgue project. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no updates on animal control building. Zumwalt expressed concern that he stopped by the animal control building and dogs were in offices instead of in kennels. Finance Manager Jill Johnson explained when the animal control wardens are cleaning, they will put animals in offices. This allows them to run and get their energy out since the building doesn't have a fenced area. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Bowers to pay the claims. Subject to county board approval, roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. During old business, Zumwalt asked the committee to consider rebidding the Grant Street drainage project, but extend the completion date through next September. The committee agreed to use the same bid proposal, but extend the dates. Schur suggested adding a penalty for non-compliance if the work isn't completed by the required date. Barron said he could request the vendor notify us when
why work is not complete, or the committee could ask State's Attorney Jim Klein for language to add to the bid proposal. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Bowers to adjourn at 9:40 a.m. Motion carried, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the management committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Bowers. Do we have any questions or comments on the report? Mrs. Awful?
Yeah, I'd like to know why there is not a fence put up yet. Didn't we talk about that a while back?
It was denied. The committee didn't want to spend the money.
So why are we
Or not the
complaining
committee,
about having dogs?
The board did not want to spend the money, even though there was grant
I
money
understand
there.
it, so why are some of the board members complaining about dogs being free inside when they gotta clean the pens? Can't have it both ways.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Duca?
Jill, is that grant still available?
We have $58,000 still available out of that grant after we paid for the building to be painted.
There you go, still there.
Mr. Zumo?
I would like to see us at least put up the fence. Not the guillotine doors or anything, but at least get a place where the dogs can run and, you know, at the safety of the handlers and things, you know, at least put up a fence to start with. And we can always add the guillotine doors later.
Mr. Williams?
I had reviewed the rough outline for the fence, didn't make much sense. And then I was told it was kind of tabled for a while. And I haven't heard, because it was tabled by various people, from the animal control people on the size of the needs of the little walk around. And, you know, good plans, so you know what to have some on bid.
Well, the animals do need to exercise.
Where the lines were prior included, whether it was electric and natural gas lines, where you would have. We need it marked by Julie and where you want to put the things so they can do a reasonable sketch to seek bids.
Mr. Whitlow?
I think it's pretty essential that we do have a fence for those dogs, for the dogs' well-being, as well as the people's safety both. I mean, these dogs need exercise. They don't survive well without it.
Anyone else have any comments about the dog fence?
Well, what's gonna be done about it? That's my question. We can talk about it until we're blue in the face, but we gotta do something.
Put it on the agenda for the committee to review
We
and
can
work
do
on
that.
next month.
I'll do that.
Okay. Mrs. Crowe?
Well, just to revisit the history, I think we received one bid, and only one bid for $28,000, and it was rejected at the full board meeting.
They,
And I don't know,
there were others reached out to. I haven't seen what those figures are, but I was told they were very similar.
Oh, we have 58,000.
John,
We'll put it on
Charlie
the
wants.
agenda for next month.
Make a comment?
Yeah, does it have to be a special fence? Specially designed or anything? Full enclosure fence, so that way they can't jump over it. Oh, it's like we've got a fence right outside here with
Oh,
preschool.
it has to be taller than that.
Yeah.
Definitely has to be
It
taller,
also has to
yes.
go down below grade so the dog can't dig a hole underneath it. Okay. So there's a number of criteria like that.
Maybe this could be sold so we get the money.
I think the specifications that were put out for bid covered most of that, but again, that's something for the management committee to review. I think probably the best course of action is to have that put on the agenda next month. Go from there. The other thing I'd like to call everybody's attention to regarding the morgue, you have in front of you a packet, the first page says meetings. If you look at the very back of it, you'll find the formal proposal from MG2A, which was approved at the management committee pending and receipt of that proposal from them. So here it is. And on the very last page is also a drawing, a preliminary drawing submitted by the architect of the morgue itself. Obviously, that's subject to revision, but it's an initial step on the part of the architect in the project. So you have that information available as well. When we approve the report today, we will also be approving the bid from MG2A, which I can then sign and they can get going with the site engineering.
Is that all?
That's all I got. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? Seeing none, clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Ducat.
Yep.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yep.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yep.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
And Benz.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next is ARPA committee, Mr. Ducat.
Mr. Chairman, members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred the American Rescue Plan Act would beg to lead submit the following report from as before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 6th at 2023 at 10 a.m. Members present were Ducat, Crowe, Awful, and Sure. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Sherry Johnson with Watsika Park District, Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon, and County Engineer Greg Perkinson. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Crowe and seconded by Alt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Am I good to keep going? The committee continued their review of the ARP application as follows. ARP application 99, Watsika Park District. An amended application was submitted requesting funds for the purchase of a van for their after-school and toddler program. Watsika Park District is also requesting funds for a new air conditioning unit for their main office. Sherry Johnson with the Watsika Park District providing pricing from a local dealership for the purchase of a van in the amount of $46,525. Johnson also provided a proposal for the air conditioning unit in the amount of $11,645. Johnson stated the Watsika Park District is able to fund the heating and cooling project and believes purchasing a van is higher priority. It was moved by Crowe and seconded by Awful to adopt the resolution awarding $46,525 to the Watsika Park District. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Application number 130-131, Assessment Office for DevNet Camus Software and Property Parcel Digitization Work. Supervisor of Assessments, Mia McCammon, reported the request for proposal would be finalized today. Once the requests for proposals are complete, they will be posted on the county's website and sent to vendors. Bids are due November 27th and will be opened at the December Tax Planning and Zoning Committee meeting. Application 92, the Iroquois County Morgue. Crowe reported action was taken during the management committee to hire MG2A, an architect from Kankakee, for the site engineering work. County Board Chairman John Scher, Lyle Barons, and Doug Geiger were appointed to handle the day-to-day decisions and keep the management committee updated. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there's no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Awful and seconded by Scher to adjourn at 10:15 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, which is all respectfully submitted, and I ask for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to approve the ARPA committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Williams, are there any questions or comments on the ARPA committee report?
Yes. On application 92, Iroquois County Board, I see the comments there, but is there any amount of money requested on that application, or?
Yes. I don't know offhand. Jill, do you know what it is offhand?
$225,000.
How much?
225.
But no action was taken on that. Do you anticipate that in the future?
I hope so.
As we go through the project and receive bids, we'll have a better ability to put a face on it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, luckily, Scott, everything's went really smooth with ARPA. Everything's worked out great, and I'm really appreciative of everybody for working together to get this done.
If there are no further questions or comments, the clerk will call the roll.
Crowe,
Yes.
Ducat.
You bet.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yeah.
Awful. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barron.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Health Committee, Mrs. Awful.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the county board. Your committee, to whom was referred health, would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 2nd, 2023 at 9:04 a.m. Members present were Awful, Hughes, and Whitlow. Paul Ducat and Doug Geiger were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, ICPHD Administrator Eric Cece. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Steve Hughes, second by Whitlow, to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Jed Whitlow and second by Hughes to pay the claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported the registration deposit for October was $4,620. There are 4 cases currently open with 8 cats and 3 dogs waiting for placement. The animal control officers closed 27 cases in October. The closed cases consisted of 9 dogs running loose, 8 bite reports, 3 well checks, 2 dogs hit by a car, 1 dog involved in a house fire, 1 aggressive dog investigation, 3 abandoned dogs. Health Chairman Barbara Awful requested an update on the bite case in Sheldon. Johnson stated this was a first offense for the dog and was considered a provoked bite due to the child entering the dog's fenced-in area. The owners fully complied by having the dog seen by a veterinarian and having the dog quarantined. The dog was also up to date on its vaccinations. No further updates were received. ICPHD Administrator Eric Cece gave an update on a grant that has been received that includes a new program for tick surveillance. This will begin next spring. An additional ICPHD staff member has been sent for lead training. Currently, Cece is the only licensed lead inspector at the health department. Cece reported on a sewage issue at the Timbered Meadows campground, stating a few years ago an unlicensed contractor installed a number of holding tanks that failed. ICPHD is working with the Illinois Department of Public Health and their environmental health department, the owner of the campground, and the 2 contractors involved. The matter is being resolved, and warning letters will be sent out to the contractors. CC distributed the monthly summary report of programs. Environmental Health reported 41 food inspections and issued 13 temporary permits. There is still 1 vacancy in the Environmental Health Department. Community Health reported an increase in immunizations. There were 5 animal bites. There is 1 COVID-19 outbreak in a long-term care facility, and 1 were many community outreach events for the month, including Narcan training and educational presentations. Vision and hearing screenings continue to increase as school is in session. Senior Services had a total client caseload of 192 clients. There was no old business. There was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Hughes and seconded by Whitlow to adjourn at 9:17 a.m. Motion carried by voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I ask for its adoption.
The motion on the floor to approve the Health Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Williams, is there any questions or comments about the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis. Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barron.
Yes.
Benz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
And Crow.
Yes.
And I want to go back, Chad. I just want to make sure you were yes. Okay, thank you.
You're sorry.
He was gulping at the time.
Charlie, do you want to vote on health?
Yes.
Okay, and you're voting yes on it? Okay, thank you. Motion carried 14-0, we're good.
Okay, next is tax and zoning, Mrs. Awful.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred tax zoning would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 7th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. Members present were Awful, Hughes, Jed Whitlow, Paul Duquette, and Doug Geiger were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Brian Suver, Supervisor of Assessment Mia McCammon, Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Feller, and ICE PhD Administrator Eric Cece. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Hughes to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Hughes and seconded by Whitlow to pay the claims subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Brian Suver reported filing is going to begin at the end of this month for County Board, State's Attorney, Coroner, Circuit Clerk, and Precinct Committee people. A demonstration of the new election equipment is being held in the County Board room on November 20th for all election judges and township supervisors who held or helped set up the equipment. Levies are still coming into the county clerk's office. Suver discussed the county's levy that will be discussed during today's meeting, stating if the worksheets provided today are approved as is, they exceed 105%, which will trigger a truth in taxation hearing. The committee will need to ensure there is plenty of time for the notice to be published, and if there are any changes, a second notice will need to be published. Lastly, Suver reported the annual tax sale was moved from October 30th to November 21st due to errors in the posting of tax payments. Supervisor of Assessment Mia McCammon provided copies of the request for proposals for the CAMA system and for the aerial flyover. There will be posted to the county's website and sent to vendors today. Proposals must be returned by November 27th and will be opened at the December meeting. The individual needs to be a Democrat or independent. The assessment office is currently working on divisions and consolidations. These have to be finished before the equalization process. The McCammon anticipates the equalization to be the high number on the levy worksheets. Middleport has contracted the Loda Township Assessor Jim Sherrill. McCammon hopes they can begin getting things assessed properly and on a timely basis. Belmont is still without an assessor. Once the equalization process is complete, McCammon plans to work with County Board Chairman John Scher and State's Attorney Jim Devine to develop a plan for the township's choosing not to get a township assessor and begin charging a fee. Planning and Zoning Administrator Julie Feller presented her monthly report to the committee as follows. Building permits October 2023. Agriculture 1. Residential 2. Wind towers 0. Solar field 0. Solicitor applications 2. Solicitor license 3. Building permits fiscal year 2023. Residential 109. Agriculture 17. Wind tower 0, solar field 0, and solicitor license 4. Building inspectors inspections October 2023, 65. Feller reported more fees are being collected this year compared to last year. Feller believes this is due to building costs decreasing and it is more affordable for people to build. Overall, from last year, there is an increase of approximately $16,000. There is a zoning board of appeals hearing on November 28th for central body for conditional use. In a prior meeting, the committee requested Feller to be clear in the definition regarding when a building permit is needed. Feller met with Devine on the necessary changes and Devine agreed the changes could be made in a text amendment. Feller provided the committee with copies of the changes. It was moved by Hughes and seconded by Whitlow to move forward with the proposed ordinance changes. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Suver presented a monthly resolution list of parcels provided by the county trustee that were sold through their auction process held in September In total, there were 26 parcels sold. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Hughes to approve the resolutions authorizing the sale of property through the delinquent tax process. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Discussion was held on the fiscal year 2023 levy, and worksheets were provided to the committee for their review. It was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Hughes to accept the fiscal year 2023 levy using the high rate of $758,521.50. Sure remind the committee that by accepting this option, a truth in taxation hearing will need to be scheduled. Finance Manager Jill Johnson added she does anticipate a change due to the final distribution from the Treasurer's Office not being reflected in the total. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Whitlow and seconded by Hughes to adjourn at 9:47 a.m. Motion carried by voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted. Now I ask for its adoption.
The motion on the floor to approve the report of the tax zoning committee. Is there a second? Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mr. Watts?
On the first page, the first bullet, Suver discussed the county's levy that will be discussed, stating if the worksheets provided today are approved as is, they exceed 105%, which will trigger a truth in taxation hearing. Does that mean that all three proposals, low, mid, and high, all exceed 105%?
No.
Now, you have a copy of those levy worksheets there in front of you.
I saw that.
And you
So-
see on the low one, that would not, but the mid and the high will.
Okay. Thank you.
In order to approve that truth in taxation hearing, after we approve the tax committee report, we will entertain a separate motion to have a truth in taxation hearing. Charlie?
I misunderstand this, but the figure used in here was 750
Million.
million.
Did I say 1,000? I don't have that kind of money, so I don't know how to do it.
It's a hair bit.
Anyone else? Jed?
With the ordinance change, and I agree, we kind of need to clean it up, is the intent of the tax committee with the definition adding in repairing or maintaining, is the intent of the tax committee to also require permits for roof repairs down the road?
President, what do you say?
Because we've never required that in the past.
I would prefer to go get them into some definition, if it's okay with you. What's Julie's here, actually? Or both? Yeah, both of you back there, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we need to.
We're gonna put you on the spot for a second.
Did you hear his question?
I think it's probably part of our review of the county code book. And as I mentioned in the policy procedure report, I've asked the tax committee, the zoning committee to handle that part of it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we don't go that nitpicky.
Yeah, well, and they haven't started yet. I'm hoping, either next month or January, they'll be able to begin.
Yeah, because I just want to make sure we don't get that picky.
Yeah.
Where if the furnace goes out, they have to have a permit. If their roof needs repaired, they have to have a permit. Their windows, because this definition does kind of look like some of the cities. And
There are some requirements about roof repairs, or the roof, you have to have a licensed roofer to do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those kinds of things
yeah,
won't
that
be changed.
that's the homeowner. That's not our problem.
I have one more thing I want to say, just so it's in today's minutes. I had reported at the meeting that the annual tax sale was changed to November 21st, and it has been changed again to December 7th at 9 a.m. It'll be held in the county boardroom.
Which means that the finance committee meeting will be held in the break room back over here.
Right.
Are there any other questions on the report for the tax and zoning committee? Being none, would you call the roll, please?
Hughes?
Yeah.
McGinnis?
Yes.
Awful?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Watts?
No.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Benz?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crow? Was that a yes, Donna? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ducat? Motion carried 13-1.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a discussion and action on setting a truth and taxation public hearing for the 2023 payable 2024 tax year levy. Do we have a motion to approve that? Mr. Williams, do we have a second? Mr. Bowers? Everybody understand what we're talking about doing? You have copies of the levy included in your packet. They're actually just a little bit in front of where I pointed out earlier the information about the morgue. And Mr. Watts had a question a minute ago. We voted at the tax and zoning committee to promote or adopt the high. We've always adopted the high, I think, pretty much every year. It's for the benefit of the county to do so. However, in order to do that, we need to hold a truth and taxation hearing.
When do we want to do it? That's what we need to set.
Can it be done right before or right after, finance, or does it have to be done separately?
Right, so you have to publish this notice in the newspaper with the amount of what your levy is going to be, not like what you guys are discussing when you discuss your high, mid, and low. You're discussing EAV, which that has to be part of this, but it also has to give an amount of what you're going to be levying. So anyway, that notice has to appear in a newspaper of general circulation, not more than 14 days or less than 7 days before the date of the public hearing. So you can hold it whenever you want, as long as we can get it published in the paper. Now, if something changes from what you publish to what you're going to want to approve, then you have to have a second hearing, and that has to be published as well. So just keep that in mind.
Yes, question for Mr. Sure is, were you want finance to do it like last time, or were you want tax to do it?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Were you want finance to do it like the last time, or you want tax to do it?
It doesn't make any difference. The problem with the finance committee doing it or holding it right after their meeting is that that same day there's gonna be a conflict because of the tax sale that's gonna be held here. And the county clerk will be involved in those kinds of things, so it's probably better that we have a different date. That is, if you wanna have it in the afternoon on that day, that's perfectly fine. But
Do we have to set that now, or can we discuss it afterwards and look at a calendar?
it would be good if we decided it now so that we can proceed with the matter.
And when do we have to have this into the paper?
It has to be,
The date?
yeah, the date that you would have to have it to the newspaper. Well, it all depends on the newspaper we're publishing in. If you publish in the Times Republic, you have to have your notice there like a week and a half to 2 weeks before you want it published. If you publish in Gilman Star or Cissna newspaper, which are the only other two that are coming to mind right now, those have to be like I want to say Gilman is the Monday before it comes out on Thursday, and Cissna is the Tuesday before it comes out on Thursday, unless Gilman comes out on Wednesday. I can't remember 100%.
Wednesday,
Excuse me?
Wednesday.
So yeah, the Monday before the paper comes out on Wednesdays. So
What is our deadline for having the truth and taxation?
you have to have the levy turned into my office by the last Tuesday of December.
That means we need to approve it at our December board meeting.
So you need to have your hearing before that probably.
So could we do it on December 12th prior to the board meeting? Have the truth and taxation at 9 o'clock and move the board meeting till 9:30?
Well, you couldn't move the board meeting because that would, I mean, I guess you could, but that would take a lot of work to be able to do that as far as to change the date. But you can hold that truth and taxation at like 8:30 in the morning if you wanted to do that.
The problem with that is if for some reason you had a large number of people that wanted to testify at that meeting that could overlap. That would be the only concern I would have. It's not likely to happen when we had a truth and taxation hearing last year, if you recall, in a very similar manner, and I don't know, there wasn't anybody that came. And there isn't likely to be anybody to come, but who can predict or forecast that?
Can we do it after policy and procedure?
That's fine.
Why don't we just plan on that, set a time after policy, so the policy and procedure has to be done.
Okay? Good with you?
I mean, that would work, or the day of the tax committee, or, I mean, the tax is the one that was approving this.
Angela, I was suggesting right after policy.
Yeah, I mean, that
If
would
you want
work.
finance to do it, if you want tax to do it, then the tax people need to do it.
Right, it would need to be, I mean, whatever committee you're gonna appoint, I guess, is the public hearing committee. Does that need to be a function of the full county board, or can it be a committee thing?
I think it's gotta be the full county board.
Do you think it has to be full county board? So Jim thinks that the public hearing needs to be full county board.
So what does that mean?
That you need to make sure you have the quorum of the full county board at that public hearing, whatever date we hold it.
The only committee that's likely to have that is the finance committee. If we have that, then same day that there's a tax sale, so that can be a conflict.
It, as long as, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily have to be at the public hearing for the levy, but I statutorily have to be at the tax sale, so. I mean, you guys can have it, like I said, I don't think I necessarily, except it's a function of the full county board, so yes, I would probably
When
need
we
to
had,
be there.
when we had the tax hearing last year, was that conducted by the supervisor of assessments?
I don't think so. I think it was conducted by whoever the chairman was at the meeting. Yeah, I don't know who conducted the public hearing.
What? Last year?
Yeah.
It was finance.
Okay. So we probably did it wrong.
So the chairman of the finance committee conducted the hearing?
That's
Yes.
what I remember when.
Okay, I think you're probably right, but the finance committee is a committee that we can have a quorum of the county board at, because we would need 9 people there if all 7 committee members are there and a couple others would be good. So do you want to do it after the finance committee meeting?
Are we free and available?
No, but she doesn't have to be there.
But then she said it was a function of the full county board.
Jim?
Somebody from your office can be there.
That's on the 6th of
What?
7. Yeah, okay.
So as long as somebody from her office is there, we're good?
Yeah, she can designate a substitute to take over her position at that meeting.
That's fine with me if it works for her.
County clerk pro tem.
If that's what you guys want to do, yeah.
Okay.
Or you can do it before me, 8:30 a.m.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to county board.
I'm
Like Donna said.
a little reluctant to go along with that, because you always have the possibility of some number of people wanting to come and testify, and it's going to carry over. I think it's better to have an open-ended deal. I don't expect anybody's gonna come, but to have it open-ended, I think makes the most sense. That makes sense?
So you need to set a time, because we have to have a time for the newspaper. So it can't just be after the finance meeting because the public hearing has to start at the specific time that you're saying it's going to.
11 a.m. work?
How long does a tax sale expected to last?
It could last between an hour or 2 hours. I don't know how many parcels he has.
And when does it
So
start?
9, which if you, whenever you hold your meeting, someone from my office will be there.
Why don't we do 11 o'clock, then there's a possibility that she can make it, otherwise someone, and then that doesn't interfere with, if we have something come up in finance. I don't,
Okay, we need to have a motion to do all that.
I move that we have it on December 7th at 11 a.m. in the break room, I guess.
Okay, is there a second to the motion? Mr. Williams? Is there any other questions or comments about the motion, Mr.
Is
Watts?
this a finance committee function or the full board then?
It'll be a finance committee function, I guess. The finance committee will conduct a meeting. We'll need a quorum of the board present.
That sound right?
That's fine.
Mrs. Crowe?
So, we're gonna do this in the boardroom. Does that motion allow, or in the break room, does that motion allow that if everything's done in here, that you can hold the meeting in here?
I'm looking to see what the,
Or I guess if you're
Notice
starting at 9
actually
o'clock,
says-
you're not gonna get up and move at 11 o'clock to come in
I don't
here.
know.
Say it's in the Iroquois County Administrative Building, and you can place it anywhere. That's the easiest way to order it.
yeah, we can just do it at the 1001 Use Grant, so
Okay.
we can figure it out that day, I guess.
That's fine.
Okay.
Are there any other questions or comments on the motion?
We have a motion, Brad.
So we're going to hold a public hearing for truth and taxation on December 7th at 11 a.m. at the Administrative Center.
Okay,
Does that work?
all right, if there's no further questions, the clerk will call the roll, please.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bentz.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Motion carried. 14-0.
Okay, moving on to Judicial and Public Safety Committee report. Mr. Whitlow.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Board, your committee to whom is referred Judicial and Public Safety would beg leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the courthouse on November 8th, 2023 at 3 p.m. Members present were Whitlow, Hughes, Bentz, Watts, and Williams. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schuer, Sheriff Clint Brzee, Coroner Bill Cheatham, Probation Supervisor Bart King, State's Attorney Jim Devine, Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines, ETS Director Eric Raymond, and Susan Lynn Bentz. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Raymond Williams, and second by Scott Watts to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. There were no public comments. Sheriff Clint Brzee presented his monthly report in the committee as follows. Deputy Reifenberger is on his own patrolling and doing well. The CPC tablet system has increased revenues as expected. Correctional Officer Medina graduated the Corrections Academy this Friday. Correctional Officer Longfellow will be the next up to go to the Corrections Academy. The new Central Square CAD/DL/report writing program is helping out with reports and saving time. X-ray scanner at the courthouse was delivered and installed October 17th and is working great. There's a possibility of getting a new metal detector for the courthouse through the Illinois Sheriff's Association grant. The jail inspection on November 2nd went very well. Improvements have been made over the past year since 2021. Secure Tech Courthouse security/alarm system upgrade. Brazil will be presenting financial options to the Finance Committee on Thursday to move forward with Starcom radios. Brazil believes this is the best overall solution. No cash bail began September 18th. The jail is seeing a decrease in population, currently between 13 to 15. Brazil said everyone that is arrestable is being arrested and brought to jail. If the offense or situation is detainable, they are detained and information is provided to the state's attorney office for detention hearing. For offenses not detainable, the person gets a notice to appear and is released. 28 arrest intakes in October, 21 male, 5 female, 2 juveniles. October jail population. Daily population average 14.29. 9 male, 2 female, 1 on ankle bracelet. October medical, 3 hospital/emergency room/prompt care visits this month. 20 mental health visits. 15 nurse practitioner visits. 3 inmate medical and intake exams. 2 dentist visits. 0 IMH lab. 4 telehealth visits. 1 IMH Dr. Beck visit. 0 Gibson City orthopedics. 1 initiated on buprenorphine. Jail overtime for October. 139 hours paid. 109.5 hours to comp. Part-time hours for October, 94. Coroner Bill Cheatham reported the pathologist in Champaign is leaving at the end of November, and Cheatham will be using the pathologist in Kankakee again. Kankakee County uses a system for the reports called Forensic Filer. Cheatham and Kankakee pathologist has asked that we also begin using this system to make our reports easier to read. Initial cost is $2,500 for the first year and $625 for each subsequent year. The cooler for the morgue has been ordered and is currently being built. Delivery is expected for December. Probation Supervisor Barb King reviewed the probation and court services activity report for October for the committee. State's Attorney Jim Devine reported no updates for the month. Circuit Clerk Lisa Hines distributed her monthly report for October to the committee for the review. A total of $43,415.23 was received in fines and fees. $4,008.30 was received from pay court, and $400.55 was received from iDrop. ETS Director Eric Raymond distributed his monthly report to the committee. Raymond reported the ESInet program went into effect October 31st. Text messaging to 911 is expected to come to the county within the next 6 to 8 months. There was no old business. There was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Watts and seconded by Williams to pay judicial and public safety claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Williams, seconded by Hughes to adjourn the meeting at 3:20 p.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by members present, and I would move for its adoption.
The motion on the floor to approve the judicial public safety report, seconded by Mr. Bennett. Are there any questions or comments on the report? Okay.
X-ray scanner, that was purchased through ARPA funds, correct?
Portion of it, yes.
Fantastic.
The rest was the court security.
Okay, thank you so much.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Awful? Yes. Sure?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Whitlow?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt? Barron?
Yes.
Bent?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crow?
Yes.
Ducat?
Yep.
Hughes? And McGinnis?
Yes.
All right, Finance IT, Mr. Barron.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred Finance IT would beg leave to submit the following report on matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on November 9, 2023 at 9:04 a.m. Members present were Barron's, Alt, Bowers, McGinnis, and Watts. Michael McTaggart and Doug Geiger were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Sheriff Clint Perzee, County Clerk Brian Suver, ETS Director Eric Raymond, Supervisor of Assessment Mia McCammon, Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance, Alex Anklum with Motorola, and Randy Sweats with Chicago Communications. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Paul Bowers and seconded by Scott Watts to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. There were no public comments. Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance reported on the 2023-2024 insurance renewal and provided a spreadsheet comparing last year's renewal to the current renewal. The current renewal is up 19% from last year. Munyon explained the items that factor into this increase include the 11% auto increase, 17% employee increase, 36% law increase, 25% payroll increase, and 43% overall excess liability. Munyon said our workers' compensation renewal is good with a 0.75 experience modifier. We are also receiving a 10.3% premium discount. The department heads gave their monthly reports. They are as follows. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reported the consolidated year-end financial report is complete, and an email was sent to board members with the report's work. We'll soon begin on the FY 2023 audit. Johnson has not received any feedback on FY 2024 budget since it has been posted for public viewing. Copies will be provided for board members and department heads on Tuesday at the county board meeting and will be ready for final approval. The insurance renewal is higher than the budgeted amount of $350,000, but Johnson said there is $50,000 budgeted in contingency to allow for additional or unexpected expenses. Supervisor of Assessments Mia McCammon reported the requests for proposals for the CAMA system and aerial flyover have been posted to the county's website, and she has emailed vendors requesting they submit a sealed bid. The deadline to submit a sealed bid is November 27th. McCammon said she hopes to move forward with the projects and get the programs established by the first of the year. The assessment office is finishing up divisions and consolidations. Once completed, the equalization can be applied and have a more concrete EVA. 911 Director Eric Raymond reported ETSB met last night and approved their budget. They have decided to move their meetings from the first Wednesday of the month to the first Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. 911 has moved to the ESI Net program. The next item on the horizon is text to 911 for Iroquois County. This is going through a state bid, and Raymond expects this to go live within the next 6 to 8 months. County Clerk Brian Suver reported filing for County Board, State's Attorney, Coroner, Circuit Clerk, and Precinct Committee people will begin the last week of November. A demonstration of the new election equipment will be held in the County Boardroom on November 20th from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. The Tax Committee tentatively approved numbers for the levy and will be discussed in more detail at the board meeting on Tuesday. Based on the levy worksheets provided and the numbers approved, there is a 108.19%, which will trigger the truth of taxation hearing. The hearing date will need to be set at the county board meeting in order to get notices published in a timely manner. Lastly, the annual tax sale was moved from October 30th to November 21st due to an issue. Sheriff Clint Perzee reported the installer is working on getting the Tahoes in service. Perzee will be talking with the Verizon representative this afternoon about the push-to-talk radio connection for the deputies and what that will entail. The X-ray scanner at the courthouse was installed on October 17th. The final payment will be made to Central Square for the CAD system. Funds for the court security fund will be paying for the security and alarm system upgrade with SureTech. No cash bail started September 18th. We are seeing a decrease in population. A meeting was held with representatives from Starcom and Kenwood about a month ago. Representatives from Motorola and Chicago Communications are here today to speak to the committee. They were also at the county board meeting last month to address any questions the board members had. Prezee said the overall cost has been reduced by $125,000, and he has also received indication of grant funds totaling $500,000 for the Starcom system. Alex Anklem with Motorola introduced himself to the committee. He and Ray Sweats with Chicago Communications have been working with Prezee for just over a year to better understand the challenges that the county faces today from a communication perspective. Anklem said key issues lie within the reliability, coverage deficiencies, and interoperability. The solution proposed will fix all these issues and more. The Starcom system, which is the state-owned and maintained radio system, will offer countywide radio coverage with the ability to communicate, call back to dispatch, and call back for help in any situation. Anklem added the system will be operable from day one. The system is also monitored 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Randy Sweats with Chicago Communications added that Prezee has brought to their attention the number of chases and pursuits that have gone into Indiana. The solution they are proposing would allow for the continued coverage eastward into Indiana, and devices will be able to switch to an LTE or cellular platform. Prezee played back recordings of radio transmissions that are difficult to hear, understand, or are dropped. County Board Chairman John Schur said he is in discussions with State's Attorney Jim Devine, and Johnson has proposed a question to the auditors about how to finance the project ourselves from our own funds. Sweats also added the system includes mapping of the location of the council. There is also impact detection that triggers emergencies. Prezee stated the number of radios has increased, so the pricing would need to be adjusted. The committee requested an updated pricing summary for the board meeting on Tuesday. Johnson provided preliminary payment amounts if the county chose to finance the project with Motorola for 7 years. For the proposal, if the radios are leased for the first payment, would not be due until December 2024. Public Safety Tax Fund brings in an estimated $520,000 per year, but Johnson said she is unsure how we would be able to fund the project ourselves. There's $523,000 invested in an Illinois money fund that can be pulled out at any time. Johnson added that she has been telling the committee for several years if they are serious about replacing the radios, they need to be conscious about spending public safety tax funds, but each year between $400,000 and $475,000 is spent. Lastly, Anklem said Motorola hears of grant opportunities often and will continue to share them with Prezee. It was moved by Chad McGinnis and seconded by Bowers to present the radio proposal to the county board for discussion and action pending updated financial information. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Committee discussed the FY 2024 budget, which has been posted for public viewing. Final action will be taken at the county board meeting on Tuesday. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by McGinnis and seconded by Watts to pay the claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Watts and seconded by Alt to adjourn at 10:07 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted. I move for its adoption.
Motion on the floor to approve the Finance IT Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Watts. Are there any questions or comments about the report? The notice in the report is Mr. Barron's just read the discussion and action on the radios. We want to approve the report first, and then we can begin a discussion about the radios. Is that fair for everyone? If there are no other questions on the report itself, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt. Barron.
Yes.
Spence.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
And Awful.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we have with us this morning the sheriff, we have Mr. Anklam and Mr. Sweat as well. And you should have in front of you a copy of their proposal that was presented this morning. It's an email to Joe Johnson. It outlines several plans. The first one assumes a down payment of $500,000. So if the total sum financed would be $1,605,358.76. That can be paid back either over 7 years or 10 years. You see there's two different interest rates. The 10-year plan is a higher interest rate. Further down, you'll see what the annual payment is for each plan. And then following that is another option with no down payment, with the total finance sum being $2,105,358.76. Goes on to show you what the 7-year and 10-year plans are. Over on the back, the interest rates are the same. A different one for the 7-year plan than there is for the 10-year plan. Tells you what the payment for each year would be. And that pretty well sums up what is being proposed as far as the payment of the plan is concerned. I think I'll offer my opinion about all this first, if you will. I think there's no question that there's a need for an upgrade in our radio systems throughout the county. This is something that would get us in line with adjacent counties as well as the state, something that's probably overdue. However, the biggest problem is the money part of it. And if we agree to do this, I think we're gonna be putting ourselves in a position to have to tighten the belt for the next 7 years or 10 years, whichever plan we adopt. We've looked at the public safety money as a source of paying for this. It can be done. But right now, as was identified in the Finance Committee report, most of that public safety money is being spent every year. Finance the telecommunicator salary, and also to provide new vehicles and other equipment for the sheriff. Something may have to give, and if we're gonna use public safety money to pay for the cost of these radios, because there won't be enough money there. I will say that however we decide to do it, I will emphasize again in the strongest possible way, something I've been trumpeting for the past 7 years, and that is the need for everyone in this county to understand and recognize the benefit of shopping local. By shopping local, we can improve our financial position and find some of the monies necessary to pay for these kinds of things. Anytime you shop in Kankakee County, Champaign County, Indiana, or wherever you're robbing this county of much needed sales tax revenue. So this is an example of where I think we're all gonna have to pull up our bootstraps if we decide to approve it. That being said, anyone else that wants to make their comments or opinions, the floor is open.
I think it's important to get the radios because of safety. You know, it's for safety. Isn't that what our account's supposed to be for?
I don't think there's any question about that, Mrs. Awful. The question is finding the monies to pay for it. You're committing to pay a large sum of money every year. And if this was a larger county, it probably would be not an issue. But in a small county like this, trying to find this kind of money is something that we have to look at pretty seriously. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, don't misunderstand me. I'm saying we need to all understand what's involved and the commitment involved. Mr. Whitlow.
I know it's a fact you've been talking since you've been chairman, since you've been on the board, about people shopping in our county when possible. We're all, I suppose everybody's guilty of not at times, but to be honest with you, we try to do that. My family does, whenever we can. And if we can just save one life or one, I've been out there before myself when your radio communication is not what it should be. That's a bad feeling. You're sitting out there in a bad situation and it just, if you can't reach somebody for backup to help you, you feel like the Lone Ranger, or even worse than that. And it's, we can save one life for one person from getting hurt. Like if you say we're gonna have to tighten our belts, but we gotta, I think we gotta do it.
Okay, Mr. Bowers?
Yes, if I read this correctly, it says the options assume no down payment, a total of $2 million.
That's the second option. The first option assumes a down payment of $500,000.
Oh, okay.
Now, that 500,000, is that the grant that you are pretty sure we can get, or was that coming
Yes.
elsewhere? Okay.
Yes. And there's other grant funding opportunities. A lot of the grants out there are a repayment. So once you get the radios, the body cams, whatever, then you can apply for these grants and then receive the payment for that. And I've worked pretty diligently on this project with Starcom and Motorola to reduce the price. We have reduced the price considerably from what we initially thought was going to be the option. And I appreciate being able to work with them. I'll hunt grants up. I will bird dog about this and make sure that we get this paid. I just feel very, very strongly that when deputies need to be able to contact dispatch or each other, they need to have that communication. I've got some recordings if you guys would like to hear a recording of some of the radio traffic that we currently have.
It's my understanding that this platform is upgradable, so in the future, we're not gonna have to be back here spending another millions of dollars. It'll just be upgraded and so.
So what you have is the initial impact fee and the equipment. That's what this project is. And then there's airtime fees for radio. So this money is going to cover all of the police departments with the exception of Watseka in Iroquois County for the law enforcement side. So I want to make sure Sheldon officers, Milford, Anarga, Clifton, they're all protected and have good radio communications. So I couldn't do this and leave them out on the cold using the sheriff's main, which is not a good enough system for them to reach dispatch or each other.
If they choose, will fire and ambulance be able to get on it too?
They can, yes, yeah. So there are other options for us to be able to have this interoperability with the fire departments. I wouldn't say each fireman needed to have a radio. Maybe the chief of each department would have a Starcom portable. But we're also able to talk with Kankakee County, with Livingston, with Ford, with other counties around us. And they talked about Indiana. You know, we have had chases that have led into Indiana within the last month. And, you know, we're going 15, 20 miles into Indiana. Our radio system is not going to work. You know, with this radio system, we will still be able to contact dispatch.
What was your comment about the Watseka Police Department? I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, so Watseka Police Department, they switched to a digital radio system. So Watseka Police can survive on their island or in their bubble of Watseka. Okay, you get outside of Watseka, you know, 15, 20 miles, and there's a good chance that it's not going to work.
But the radios will still work with each other, right?
Yes, so we can switch over and talk to Watseka. We can switch over still and talk on the sheriff's main, the county fire. We can still talk on all those channels.
Control?
I have a list of about 6 things here. there's no question that human safety is always a priority, the priority. And I just want to be certain that I understand what's going on here. So where is the first 500,000 down coming from?
It's coming from a grant that's pretty well secure or committed.
Is that a local
Yes,
grant, a private?
yes.
Okay. Now, when they say that, okay, so our safety tax is gonna be committed, a portion of our safety tax fund is going to be committed in the amounts shown on the email for either 7 to 10 years. And additionally, we're going to be every 3 years dealing with salary funding to the dispatch center. Historically, that's unfortunately the way that has worked out, correct?
Correct.
So we're using up that public safety tax pretty quickly.
We have been using it up, and I had some discussions with the sheriff about this yesterday, and I think he understands that depends how things work out. It's hard to forecast exactly, but he may not be able to get the same number of vehicles every year that he's been getting the last few years. And some of these or some other types of things may have to be stretched a little further in order to get everything fitted in.
Correct, but the biggest unknown is about the contracts, the union contracts for salaries. That's the biggest unknown that will affect, that,
You know,
really can't.
those contracts are for the 2 years going forward.
Right, but if we were to go with a 7-year, we're gonna go through that cycle 2 more times. If we go with a 10, we're gonna go through it 3 more
Correct.
times. So we have to think about that.
With all of our unions, not just the telecommunicators. The telecommunicator is the only one that we've supplemented with public safety monies.
Correct.
But the others affect the general fund.
Correct. So, I have had the question, and I've posted to the sheriff numerous times. I have a great concern because I've been approached by more than one fire and EMS unit about them not being able to afford on their limited budgets Starcom units, and about communication between the two. Now, I've had several answers. You just flip a switch on the console and a few more things like that. But it really seems overly simplified to me to say that, and I really want to make sure that we have those communication channels available, and that no small fire department in the county, or no, we've lost some of our ambulances, and we have ambulances covering multiple areas, that communication is going to be there.
Yes, so county fire, gonna stay the same. Fire departments will operate just as they did. We're not touching this, we're adding a radio system essentially. Sheriff's Main will still operate, so that could be a backup. So all that will still operate the same, and we will still have communications with the fire departments on those channels.
So it's not gonna be on the Starcom unit, where's it gonna be? I mean, where's that communication and which system is that gonna happen in?
Well, you'll have Starcom, which the county law enforcement will communicate to dispatch and with other area departments. And then county fire and sheriff's main are still in operation. It's 2 separate systems. But the Starcom system can still talk on the sheriff's main and the county fire.
Say that again.
The Starcom system, we can switch our portable or our mobile radio in our car to the county fire or sheriff's main channel and still talk on those.
So you mentioned that, say the chief could get a Starcom portable. If we can still do that, then why does he need a Starcom portable?
It would be better communications.
More reliable.
More reliable. And I mean, the fire chiefs don't have to, the fire departments don't have to do anything at all.
So, then there's going to be a yearly cost built into this that will affect the general fund, I'm assuming, the sheriff's budget. But what's that yearly fee gonna be?
So that's per radio, so that's per portable and per mobile radio. So we're leasing the system, we're not out there fixing towers. If a repeater goes down, Starcom knows it before we do, so that's the service that we're paying for. So it's a service per portable that we would be paying, and mobile.
She wants to know how much it's gonna cost.
So the yearly, for 24 portables, so that includes the jail, the courthouse security, and our patrol, and the mobile radios is $41,127. That's for the yearly maintenance and the airtime fees.
Is that over and above the figures here? It is, okay.
Yeah, primarily what that includes, as you had mentioned earlier, how this is an upgradable system. So that basically ensures that, we're never in this room talking again about what are we doing about the system in 10 or 15 years, where if there's new technology that comes out, Motorola is responsible for updating it. If something breaks, Motorola is responsible for fixing it. So that's all basically ongoing costs that are involved with the system. That's what the airtime fee helps check out.
And you guys have indicated that there's usually some type of grants out there that you're gonna let the sheriff know about when they come up?
Absolutely.
What dollar amounts are we looking at, and how often do they come out, and what's the chances of us getting them?
I mean, for example, we've seen on the fire side from the AFG grant, which, usually theirs are very favorable for, sometimes for fire departments, should they want to join. Typically kind of a regional system. I mean, we've seen grants in the hundreds of thousands, we've seen over $1 million in Illinois. It really just depends on the level of need and, I guess what they're looking to accomplish, but we've seen fairly large grants for that. Those are multiple per year, every year. And then we've seen on the law enforcement side as well, those can often be, several hundreds of thousands of dollars that are available for that as well.
And what are they eligible for? I mean, could we use them to pay this, or is it for upgrades?
They can use it for paying for this. And basically, after a system is already basically acquired, you can use it to basically pay that back.
So we were speaking a bit about the fire side. I appreciate your questions. My father was a career firefighter, so it's near to my heart. AFG is what it's called, American Firefighter Grants. And it's an annual event. And what we have seen is once the system is on the air for those firefighters to have access to, the grant process is quite a bit more favorable to them receiving that funding. It's all over the board as far as dollar amounts, from self-contained breathing apparatus to radios to all sorts of equipment that they need. But it's a very, very lucrative and beneficial process.
So backing up, for 2024, for maintenance and airtime and everything that we've got, the sum is $41,127, which will come from the general fund, which will no doubt affect the sheriff's budget.
So Donna, what I understood was if you approve this, our first bill will come in December of 2024, which would.
For the infrastructure and
Right.
the radios.
Right, so that would be our fiscal year 25. So we could budget it in for next year in July, when we do budget hearings, we could budget that in. So taking a look at the information that was provided to me, your loan payment, your maintenance, your airtime, as well as I included body cams, because as of 2025, we're gonna have to fund body cams, which Sheriff had quoted 70,000 for 5 years. So the first year being 2025, you're gonna look at a total obligation out of the public safety tax fund of $293,463.78. for body cams, airtime, maintenance, and for the loan.
And that's 2025, December 2025?
Correct.
No,
That's
2025
That's
budget.
24, Donna.
24,
December 24,
yeah.
425, yes.
Okay, 293, 463, 78 from public safety.
And that's if you choose to finance at 7 years, 1.99%. And that would be financing the $1,605,358.76.
There is a body cam grant that's open right now, but it's for repayment of a system that you've already purchased. So we would have already had to purchase that $70,000. The ILETSB grant only offers $897 per camera. So that really wouldn't get us very far down the road, but it's something.
And I'm just trying to get all the facts straight in my mind, but that 41,127 is undoubtedly going to increase over the years, and it's gonna become a permanent part of the budget. And also, when you talk about body cams, I'm also thinking of your comment that for FOIA purposes and that you're almost gonna need another full-time employee to redact and edit and release and review and.
With this budget, we should be right there with the amount of people that we have.
Without another employee to take that on?
With this budget.
If we act on this today, when do we get the radios and when will they be operational?
They would be operational upon delivery. As far as when we would be able to receive them, that'll be a Alex question.
Yeah, so typically the lead time we've seen recently is about 3 to 4 months, just because of supply chain constraints. So, certainly the sooner we can sign, the sooner we can get them basically ready to be constructed. There's things we can do on our side as well to try and expedite that delivery, but 3 to 4 months is typically the lead time that we've seen. And to the sheriff's point, so basically as soon as we receive the radios, especially the portables, all we have to do is program in the STARCOM system, program in any other systems like the Fire VHF, and they would be able to operate on STARCOM on day one.
The second part of that, sir, is the infrastructure improvements that are part of this proposal. That would be a tower site in Donovan and one at the Wellington Tower. That is going to take the better part of 2024 to accomplish. But the handheld radios, the radios installed in the vehicles will be fully operational at delivery.
Are those towers, Motorola towers, you own those, the county does not? Are we utilizing the towers and repeaters that we currently own in any way?
For the STARCOM system, no. There's one STARCOM system up by St. Anne, one by Ashcombe, one down by East Lynn, and then one by Sibley are the closest. So they're going to add equipment to the water tower in Wellington, and they're going to add equipment onto the site up in Donovan that's owned by Milner Media.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Real quick comment. From military, you always want to be able to communicate with people. He was a pilot, he knows what he needs to communicate. If he's got a problem with the plane, somebody sheds him, whatever, recover. So I'm in favor of voting for it.
Yeah, me too.
Donnie, you answered a lot of my questions, thank you. We'll go with this first. How does this affect 911? Do they have to update any of their equipment?
So we've included the equipment for them to be able to communicate with the STARCOM system as it is today. So we've included that as part of the proposal.
And who will be maintaining it and who will install it?
I believe SHACOM will be the ones that will be maintaining and installing it.
Gotcha. Any issues we have that in further, is that part of the contract for you to fix them, or do we have to pay a fee to have somebody come down here and fix the equipment?
Sorry, I'm not sure quite.
It's a support contract.
Yeah, basically supporting it.
Yes.
For that work, yes.
And that is in the contract?
Yes.
All right, the next thing is, I know we don't want to go back to the report, but in the report, it says the solution proposed will fix all these issues and more. Sheriff, what were all the issues and more? And Starcom stated they will be able to take care of us.
So with the APX Next portables, they have the LTE side, which is the Verizon wireless. So basically wherever you can get Verizon cell signal, then you'll be able to get out. So it automatically switches from the Starcom system to the LTE. So when you press the button, it goes over the Verizon wireless system. You can also program up to 22 Wi-Fi channels into these portables. If we can have all of the schools have one Wi-Fi channel, that would plug into the portable. We can be in the depths of the crater up at Central. We can be in the depths of Milford High School, wherever, and we would be able to have radio contact with dispatch. I could guarantee you that if you go into any of those places with one of our portables and you try to key up, you're not gonna get out. So that's one of the biggest things, and that's day one that's operational with those portables. Additionally, when the officer keys up, that marks his location. So say we have an officer that gets into a chase and then it ends up being a foot pursuit, okay? We may know where the squad car's at, we may know where the officer said he was at, but that bullet point where that person is at when he keyed up, now we know exactly where that officer is at. So I think that's very important. There's so many things with this system that no other system can do. I understand it's expensive. I sit at home at night, and if I hear dispatch call an officer 2, 3, 4 times with no response, it's painful. So I know it's expensive. I appreciate you guys' concern and your willingness to listen to us and think about this. I will work diligently to get this paid off. That's my promise to you.
All right, Randy, with Chicago Communications, who do you have locally contracted around us that you're connected with?
Well, we are connected with Brian Williams from Williams Communications. He's one of your vehicle upfitters. We're not contracted with Mr. Williams, but we have often frequent contact with him.
Alex, with Motorola, currently, and this is just for updating my knowledge, does the Illinois State Police do this too? Are they on the system?
Yes, yeah, they're one of the largest users of the Starcom system.
I just wanted to check and ask.
Yep.
Okay, I think we pretty well discussed it. Do we want to take action on this today or not?
I would like to make a motion to do the 7-year option with the $500,000 down payment.
Okay, we have a motion to do that. Second by Mr. Whitlow. Does anyone have any questions or comments about what's being proposed?
Is that going to be our money, or is that going to work on?
What?
Is that coming straight out of our fund, or is that working on a grant?
It's a grant, the 500,000.
500,000 is a grant.
Okay,
That's all I'm asking.
The 500,000 grant is what Mr. Barrett's proposing.
They're from the Ducat Trust.
Yeah.
I thought it was the Williams Trust.
You have to ask for it first.
I also, I will say that I also asked the sheriff yesterday to request the entity that's providing the $500,000 grant to increase that amount. And he's agreed to do that. Hard to say whether, I mean, all they can do is say no. It's kind of the same category as all these other grants that are being talked about that are available. I think it's great. On the other hand, we can't count on them. We have to obligate ourselves to what we're talking about doing, so. Mrs. Crowe?
Is there a reason that we can't say the name of the local grant?
They've asked us not to do that.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions? Okay, would you call the roll, please?
Okay, Watts,
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bunce.
Yes.
You
Bowers.
still gotta do the
Yes.
budget.
Crow.
You still gotta do the budget.
Ducat. Sorry.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yep.
Awful.
Absolutely, yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, we have that resolved. The next item will be the approval of the
Thanks, Lynn.
fiscal 2024 budget. Do we have a motion to do that? Mr. Williams, do we have a second? Mr. Hughes? Are there any questions or comments? The budget was approved last month, it's been posted, there's been no comments or objections or any other information received from anyone. Unless somebody has any objections or problems today, we'll finalize it with the basis of this motion. Is there anybody has any questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barons.
Yes.
Bunce.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yep.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yep.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And Watts.
Yes.
All right, moving on, Transportation and Highway Committee, Mr. Paul.
Thank you. Trying to get Greg on the, giving him copies each time before the meeting. Greg Perkinson, from our reports, so he has it ahead of time. Okay. We'll talk about it later. Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred Transportation and Highway would beg Lave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Iroquois County Highway Building on November 9, 2023 at 8:30 a.m. Members present were Alt, Zumwalt, Williams, Donna Crow, and Chad McInnes were absent. Also present, County Engineer Greg Perkinson, and County Board Chairman John Scher. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Zumwalt, was seconded by Williams to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. There was no public comments. The claims and finance reports for the month were reviewed. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Zumwalt to pay the bills subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. During a new business, County Engineer Greg Perkinson presented an agreement for the county engineer salary for the next fiscal year. The agreement states the county elects to use the Illinois Department of Transportation, IDOT, recommendations, salaries, schedule determine the county engineer's annual salary and agree that the minimum salary shall be at least 95% of the recommended salary. Return IDOT will reimburse 50% of the salary from federal funds. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Zumwalt to approve the agreement for the county engineer salary. Motion carried by voice vote. Isn't that a roll call vote?
I think so.
Should have been, it says a voice vote here.
Yeah, there's a roll call.
We'll change it to that, please.
Got it.
Perkinson also presented a resolution of appropriation funds for the payment of the county engineer's salary to an amount of $126,100 for 2024. It was moved by Williams and seconded by Zumwalt to approve the resolution approximating funds to the payment of the county engineering salary. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Perkinson informed the committee that the application interested in the county engineer position has stated he will accept no less than the 1% of the recommended salary. Last, during the business, Perkinson spoke to the committee about joining Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network. The membership cost is $250 a year. Perkinson explained if there is a disaster in Iroquois County, other members counties are
municipalities would come in and assist. Another advantage is Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Network has a mobile trailer that would be brought in, and our equipped hours and manpower hours would be tracked for use. It was moved by Zumwalt and seconded by Williams to join Illinois Public Works Mutual Aid Association as a cost of $250. Motion carried by, again, that should be a roll call vote. Perkinson will bring the agreement to the committee next month and coordinate with EMA Director Scott Anderson and Sheriff Clint Brzee. During the old business, Zumwalt inquired about applications for the county engineering vacancy. Highway Chairman Charlie Alt said he would prefer to have more than one application before the decision is made to fill the vacancy. Perkins said he spoke to several assistant county engineers from other counties about the position. All were satisfied with their current position and were not interested in relocating. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Williams and seconded by Zumwalt to adjourn at 8:52 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, and I recommend adoption of this committee, this report. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve the Transportation and Highway Committee report. Do we have a second? Mr. Williams. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mr. Watts?
On the salary for the engineer, $126,000 for 2024. This, he works in Fulton County as well, right?
Well, it's divided between counties.
Okay.
And
So
it's
126,000 prorated, or is that
Yeah.
what we're getting?
It's prorated between the two counties, so actually this,
It's actually a separate issue. That's obligating funds for next fiscal year for the new, if it was a full amount for the county engineer. It's
So the
nothing to
full-
do with the split between Ford and Iroquois. That's,
So the full amount is 126 divided by 2 counties.
that'll be decided next month on another resolution.
Oh, this is to set the salary schedule for that position by, so we can get the 50%.
doesn't mean that we'll be paying that amount either. You have a copy of these two resolutions in your handouts today. Anybody else have any questions about the report? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Williams.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Benz. Bowers.
Yes.
Crow. Yes. Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yep.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next on our agenda is approving the appointments. They're all listed on the copy of your agenda that you have in front of you. Is there a motion to approve those? Mr. Hughes, is there a second? Mr. Williams? Are there any questions or comments on the appointments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion is approved. Next are the claims. Excuse me, everybody has been sent a copy of the claims, so we have a motion to approve them. Mr. Zumwalt, seconded by Mrs. Lawful. Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll, please?
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Benz is gone, sorry. Bowers.
Yes.
Crow. Ducat.
Yep.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yep.
Awful. Yes. Sure.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Whitlow.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Is there any old business to come before the board this morning? Is there any new business? There's one item of new business that I want to ask the board about, and that is, last year we reinstituted or re-energized, whatever you want to call it, our annual Christmas luncheon. Is there something you want to do again this year? Today is the day we should decide on that, so that the county clerk can proceed with making arrangements. Is anybody in favor of doing that? Sure. Nobody wants to have a luncheon?
Good paying, John, we'll all go.
Whose side are you on?
Stakes only. The board side.
I say let's do it.
Okay, one board member is in favor.
I agree with
Anyone else?
Barb.
You wanna do it?
How about a show of hands? Everybody that wants to have the luncheon, raise your hand. It's like the majority vote. We will ask the county clerk to get the arrangements made. Where would you like to do this? Same place last year, at the Topper, or do you wanna go somewhere else?
Well, I don't know what the schedule is for the new restaurant that used to be Miss Carol's. Maybe if they would be open in time, we could consider them.
I guess that's something to check on.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they're gonna be open for lunches. There's La Patasina. I'd like to move it around. We used to go to the same place all the time. But then again, the Topper's fun.
I think last year we were at the Topper, and maybe it was the year before we were over at the table.
Right.
I don't like places to be open until next spring, really.
You wanna try for Miss Greg's or Miss Carol's, and if we can't do that, go back to the Topper, is that satisfactory?
Chairman, Greg's will not be open until the spring. I've talked to the owner. At the earliest, won't be open until the spring.
Yeah, why not?
Who's also there?
Right now.
Okay, we will ask the county clerk to make the arrangements. Following our meeting next month, we'll have the luncheon. We'll be inviting the other county officials to come along and attend as usual. Is there any other new business to come before the board this morning? If none, do we have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Ballard? Is there a second? Mr. Watts? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.